almost by accident, I kind of made a sale, and it was $49.25 commission. It was like, wow. Eventually I was getting $150 and then $300, $500. Maybe the market of people who already has the software is bigger than the market who are going to buy the software. So I put up a domain for the cheat sheet, and I listed it as back then there was a Warrior Forum and there was a special offer feature, and I put it on there for $40. And I happened to be moving house at the time, and that week when I moved house, I was selling $1,000 a day worth of this ebook. And I'm like, if I could actually do this full time, if I could make $1,000 a day, I could quit my job. And that was really the first moment I thought, maybe this is possible.
Hi everybody, welcome to today's Coffee with Robert. I'm delighted to have a super guest with me today, a guy called James Schramko from superfastbusiness.com. I've been watching this guy for a long time on the internet. Super successful, an awful lot of integrity, does things the right way. And I'm absolutely stoked to have you on the show today, James. And I'm really keen to find out a little bit about your backstory and what's got you to where you are right now, where you're intending to go with all of this in the next few years.
Sounds good.
So tell me a bit about the backstory. How did you start online, etc.?
When I started online, I was also a general manager of a Mercedes-Benz dealership, and we were coming into an economic, financial decline, and that concerned me because I was getting paid a wage by one company, a high wage, and I felt like my job would be at risk, and I had a sense that I was repeating history. It felt to me a lot like what happened to my own father when I was a kid. When I was about 17, he was a high flyer, had a great job in a big company. And then there was the recession in Australia in the late 80s, and he found himself redundant, and they had to sell the house, the car, and he struggled, I think, from that. Never really recovered, either financially or mentally. I think it was a big hit for him. And here I was, repeating a cycle. I'm like, hang on. I'm getting paid by one person. I'm a high flyer. I've got a family. I don't want to have to go home and let them know that Dad's no longer got a job. We have to sell the house. We've got to move. So I knew that it was a race against time to create some sort of psychological safety for me and for my family. I needed to get paid by multiple people. And most of the information I was studying at the time led me to the concept that I really need my own business. As I noticed, most of my Mercedes-Benz clients, the bulk of them were business owners, not employees.
Interesting. And so how did that progress from there to where you were online?
There was a few things. One was an ex sort of combatant of mine in the sales force had gone out and registered a domain. And I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. Maybe I should register a domain. So in 2005, I registered a domain. At about the same time, a client of mine asked me if I'd like to teach his financial advisor team of salespeople how to sell better. He said, whatever you're doing to me, can you teach my team? Because I bought 12 cars from you, and they're no good at selling. And I said, sure, I'll check with my boss. I went to the owner of the business and said, listen, this client wants me to train his financial advisor team of salespeople. I don't think it's a conflict. I'll do it on my day off. What do you reckon? And he said, sure, just charge plenty. So I invoiced this guy $4,000, and I prepared a training session for a day. And with the money, I went and bought a laptop. And that's really when I went back online, since I'd had a computer in the late 90s. I had a computer about 1996 for a couple of years until it stopped being effective. And I was on the World Wide Web way back then. My cousin had put me onto it, but then I disconnected from it. So now I had a domain, I had a laptop, and I was actually researching to buy some books from J. Abraham, who I was studying at the time. And I stumbled across this page that wanted me to enter my email address. And if I did, they'd send me some J. Abraham reports. And I did that. And then when I got the reports, they said, hey, by the way, you can actually give these reports away and you can make money if people buy the products that we sell. And I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. That was affiliate marketing, as I later found out. And I joined this marketplace called ClickBank and got my affiliate link. And then I noticed with my internet service provider, you could have a web page. So I sort of rolled out my 10 feet cord, plugged it into the phone line and dialed in, and I set up my page. And of course, I didn't make any sales at all. I had no idea what I was doing. And then the sort of hunt was on. I really need my own website to put on my own domain. And I struggled for, it was about 9 months of using my laptop every day after work and trying to figure out how to build a website. And eventually, after a lot of hardship trying to figure it out, I found some software that made it a bit easier. And I set up a demo site with the software to teach myself how it all works. I think the old Lego constructor in me came out, and I put my affiliate links on it because I realized, I knew what affiliate marketing was from the last time around. And almost by accident, I kind of made a sale, and it was $49.25 commission. It was like, wow.
Get a happy dancer.
This could actually work. And I just set about then driving traffic, improving my conversions, and making more and more sales, and sort of ramped that up. Eventually, I was getting $150 and then $300 and $500. And then I created a bonus for people who bought the software from me if they bought it through my link. And one day, someone in a forum had asked a question about how to use this software, and someone said, hey, look, I've got this cheat sheet that I got from James Schramko from buying through him. You should get it. It's great. And so they emailed me and they said, hey, would you sell me the cheat sheet? And I said, okay, well, if you PayPal me $40, I'll send it over. They sent me $40, so I made a sale directly. They went into the forum and said, hey, he'll sell it to you for $40. The next day, I had like 20 people trying to buy this thing.
Wow.
And I'm like, hang on a minute. Maybe the market of people who already has the software is bigger than the market who are going to buy the software. So I put up a domain for the cheat sheet, and I listed it as back then there was a Warrior Forum and there was a special offer feature, and I put it on there for $40. And I happened to be moving house at the time. And that week, when I moved house, I was selling $1,000 a day worth of this ebook. And I'm like, if I could actually do this full time, if I could make $1,000 a day, I could quit my job. And that was really the first moment I thought, maybe this is possible. And I was reading the 4-Hour Work Week, and I was working hard on developing new affiliate offers that had more recurring components. And got myself over to America, attended a conference, won a prize, and started networking with some much more advanced marketers. They were all making over $1 million a year. And I've stumbled over CPA marketing and high-level affiliate offers. And then I went back home and I realized, well, I I'd built a couple of websites for some businesses, and I thought maybe I could do their online marketing for them. And I pitched one company that, and they said, yeah, when can you start? And I'm like, oh. And then I found another referral and pitched another one. And so now I had 2 clients who wanted online marketing as a service.
Yeah.
So that plus what I was making for my affiliate income plus the ebook actually matched my income. So I quit my job and went full time into it. And that was about 11 years ago now.
Yeah. It's interesting because there's a couple of areas that you were talking about that I've been involved in as well. Because my dad was a car salesman, and so I was kind of brought into that business as well, and did a bit of that. I remember going through the whole dial-up modem thing, and I was around about the time that Frank Dyer was doing his infamous Internet Empires thing, and trying to do all of that on a dial-up was a nightmare. But one thing that really interests me about people is the difference that makes the difference, right? Okay, see, a lot of people would bow under the pressure of their family, people around their peers, and all saying, oh, what are you doing, wasting your time doing this, you know, go and do this, or go and get a proper job, or concentrate on your traditional business. And yet you didn't, you kept going. And there was no guarantee that you were going to make it any more than there is for anybody else. And I'm curious, when you were going through that kind of, that morphing between one stage of life to another, whether or not there was indeed any doubt, or whether you just had blind faith and just kept going in the faith that it was all going to go out right in the end. I'm curious how you felt in that period.
Well, the thing that really bothered me was that by day I was a general manager of a Mercedes-Benz dealership. I was on a $300,000 package.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, surely I'm not the most basic person on the planet. Like, I must be able to figure this out. I just had this confidence that I could figure it out, but it was confoundingly difficult. It was so difficult. And then, you know, part of it was I realized that I'm trying to do everything myself. I'm not investing anything in it. You wouldn't run a dealership that way. So I sort of sprung for a few ebooks and started fast tracking my education. And of course, these days I teach my own students, like, don't you dare learn how to build a website. Like, that's the last thing you should be doing. It's a problem because in the beginning you don't have something to sell, so you're not making money, so you can't invest for someone to build a website. And even if you could, what would you build it for? So I think everything revolves around the offer. And I kind of stumbled over my offer that converted.
Yeah.
But then if you already have some kind of expertise, I think these days, like fast forward, I think we're talking about 15 years now from when I started. It's a lot clearer now on you know, you can use video and social media and stuff to get up and running much easier than back then. Back then you kind of had to build a website and figure out emails and stuff.
Yeah.
There was no Facebook at this time. Like, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you couldn't just set up a Facebook page or a group. Like, you had to do it it was a bit hard. Most people were using Front Page and Dreamweaver to build websites.
Wow. Yeah.
It was still early days, like the Wild West.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's moved on incredibly now. I mean, the people that come online now, they've got it all really compared to there. It's just, I mean, there's so many ready-made plug-in and go solutions out there. Not all of them, are that great, but I mean, they're still better than starting where we were back then with all of those challenges, to be honest. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the digital marketing agency, because that's also something that I've been into in the past. Less so now, but I was in the past, and I used to do white label stuff for other people. It's interesting you went into that, because that was the one thing that I kind of went through a period of thinking was, when I was marketing, if you want, to other marketers all the time, it's very difficult to come out with something that they haven't already seen, or a pitch that they haven't already heard. And oftentimes you're trying to teach them stuff they already know, to a large degree. But then when I took it offline and I was dealing with traditional businesses, of course, they look at you as if you're a god, because this is all stuff completely outside of their domain. And I had the same sort of reaction that you did. It was just like, wow, this is lovely, because it almost feels frictionless compared to the other way of doing it. I mean, first question, are you still doing that? And second question, if so, why?
Well, I went through a massive evolution, so maybe I'll give you a short part.
Yeah, sure.
Like in the beginning, I learned how to do everything myself.
Yeah.
I had great skills, and when I signed up those clients, I was fulfilling the work. I was very good at SEO. I was very good at paid traffic. All great. Then other people asked for help. Could you help me? So I started building a team, and I went from a team of 0 to 65, and then we became a very solid wholesale provider. So I started slipping back from retail frontline, because of course you're dealing with the customer, and that can use up a lot of bandwidth, and it's can be also awkward if you don't frame the customers well or have a good ability to manage the projects. So we were supplying hundreds of resellers as a white label provider. So as a vendor, if you like, in the SEO space and then the website development space. And then I sold both of those businesses and got to pay out for them. And now I coach agencies, and I'm a partner in some agencies. So I'm very lucky, I guess, to work with some of the leading agencies on the planet for conversion rate optimization, for podcast show publishing and syndication, for YouTube advertising, Facebook advertising, and so on. So I guess I'm still in the agency business, but I'm more of an advisor / investor. And some of them are, they're doing $5 million a year or £5 million a year, which is pretty much the same at the moment.
It is at the moment,
So they're at scale and they're very good. So it's not a business model I directly engage in, but I coach them, and I'm also a beneficiary in some people's businesses who are in that space.
Yeah. Just going back to your point there about nearly the same, I was shocked when I went over to visit my mum and dad just a few weeks back over there in Adelaide. And man, honestly, I mean, I think in one supermarket, they were asking $6 for half a cauliflower. I nearly fell over. It's actually, I've got to say, it's a little bit more expensive in a lot of areas. Whereas 18 years ago, I came across and it was $3 to the pound. And that really was a holiday. That really was. But yeah, times have changed. But so here's a question that I bet you've never been asked before, by the way. If you were to start all over again, right here,
had to start again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and hence the sarcasm. You haven't been asked this before. Yeah, I mean, what would you do right now? Or how would you advise somebody to get started online now? Apart from obviously get over to Superfast Business and become a member.
Well, they wouldn't qualify if they haven't started yet. So I don't deal with startups. I've deliberately screened them out. They're just too difficult. Yeah. There's too many unknowns, and whilst I can start up a business and have it succeed, it's a lot of mental reasons why people won't succeed. And then of course there's the struggle around the offer. So the secret is to find the offer, move in on the offer. A good starting place is all the things you've already bought. Why did you buy them? Like, you're in the buyer's mindset. You've educated yourself on the possibilities in the marketplace. It comes down to being able to communicate that. But also, if you have some kind of skill or expertise, you might be able to position yourself where you could help someone who already has an offer to improve or enhance or do that offer better. And you could become a beneficiary. Perhaps you get a revenue share model of some kind. That's a really great scenario, and that's how I like to structure deals now. So it really depends on the goal. I can see now why you are having challenges selling retail stuff if you're asking the same questions everyone else is asking. It's almost the wrong question, because the goal could be variable. Often that question says if you had to make money within 30 days or whatever. But I'm looking at a business for 10 years. So I have a different goal to most. Most of my efforts focused on retention.
Mm-hmm.
and not getting new customers, because I have a subscription business.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think about where my business is going to be in 2 or 3 years from now, or if I could sustain what I'm doing for the next decade,
Mm-hmm.
is that going to bother me or not? And I build my business around sustainability. A great example of that is I take 4 days a week off and I work 3 days a week. So
Mm-hmm.
I could sustain that for a very long time. I feel like I've put it into semi-retirement mode. So it depends on what the goal is. If it's fast cash, I'd do different things than a long-term business. But it is hard starting out. You're going to have massive commitment to overcome the challenges that will absolutely 100% definitely come your way.
Mm-hmm.
You would want to not be in a desperate situation. And unfortunately, a lot of people who come at me have already created a hydra monster, like a multi-headed beast of
Mm-hmm.
desperation and despair, which is why I have a minimum criteria.
Yeah.
Because people who are desperate and under pressure, generally they're unlikely to succeed. In fact, even businesses who do succeed, a massive proportion of them, I can't remember the stat, let's just run with something like 90% fail within a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, some of them would actually be better off just to take a job and not put themselves through the pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I get that. It's something I've said a few times when I've done meetings and stuff. Is that question I would open up with is what's the worst thing in the world versus, or worse than generating, not generate, get it the right way around. What's worse than not generating any leads for your business? And the answer to that is generating loads and loads of leads for your business and not converting that into any actual business, because everything it took you to get those leads, the marketing spend, you might as well take your family on holiday. It's exactly right. And I see too many people where the business actually owns them, not the other way around. The business, they work for the business, not the business working for them. And I always go back to, you remember Michael Gerber and the E-Myth and all that sort of stuff. That left a massive mark on me. Just that, you can start out no matter how small you are, with that concept of building it so you could plug virtually anybody into it and get a duplicatable, consistent result. Whereas most of us do get into our businesses, I don't know if you agree, but because we're good, like you did right in the beginning, you were exceptionally good at SEO, etc. But what ended up happening, at least for a while there, was you had a job. And then you grew out of it, and you were intelligent enough to know you had to break that cycle. But an awful lot of people get stuck in that rut, don't they? Where they're working for an absolute maniac, and it's them.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't have a team. If you don't have a team, you don't really have a business.
Exactly.
It's simple as that. It's one of the markers of scale. You can only scale. You might get to a couple of $100,000, but you'll be working pretty hard for it. You need to have a team. And, that's really what the big thing that I reflected on when I was a general manager by day and a solo operator at night. I'm thinking, well, the difference here is by day, I've got 70 people in the business. We can generate $50 million in revenue, and I didn't have to do anything other than walk around and have a few conversations. So I would look around the showroom and I'd think, well, if that person over there was doing research, that person over there was building the website, and that one over there was sending the emails, this would be, this could be a good online business. And the irony is I ended up building a bigger database for myself than I had at the business. And I made more profit than the business made, which just blew my mind. I could make more profit than a $50 million revenue business. The average car dealer makes about 1% profit on their revenue.
Yeah.
That's a frightening statistic.
It's low, isn't it? Wow. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. That is pretty incredible. So it's kind of, it's interesting to know what you've got in your mind moving forward from here, because it sounds to me like you're really content with what you're doing. You obviously know you're making a difference to an awful lot of people, and you're giving great value out there in the marketplace. So are you content to kind of just keep doing what you're doing and maybe expanding what you're doing, or have you got ideas to take it into different directions?
I'm just increasing my investment portfolio now of
Mhm.
revenue share deals
Yeah.
because that's the way I like to operate. I like to be in a team. I like to be a collaborator or a partner
Mhm.
uh, in a business, and I like it to be sustainable because most partnerships don't work,
Yeah.
but you can make them sustainable if you set them up right. And that way, I'm across multiple businesses and I have great exposure to the market, but I don't have to be the expert on the thing. I
Mhm.
just have to be good at running the thing, and I am pretty decent general manager, so it kind
Yeah.
of suits my skill set to
Yeah.
manage high risk, high concept things, and to have a lot of plates spinning. I'm kind
Yeah.
of built for that now after years and years of practice.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Well, listen, it's. I'm aware that we're sort of eking towards the end of our time, and I've appreciated your time today. It's been really enlightening and enjoyable having a chat with you and finding out how your mind ticks a little bit, because you've done extremely, extremely well. And I know that people will get a lot of value in this video. Now, I know you didn't. Just in wrapping up, I want people to be able to go find out more about you, get their hands on some more information, etc. We may have a few people out there who are looking to start up. Can they still get value from superfastbusiness.com, or is there somewhere else they should go?
They can, but they have to be realistic that it's going to be harder for them. There's so many unknowns. Like, put it this way: if someone's already in motion and generating an income, I know I can help them because all the question marks are removed, and there's so much opportunity for them. If you're starting out, I would actually send them to onlinecoursesystem.com, which is um, basically, it's my favorite model of building a membership or a course.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I really made the big moves, is when people wanted to buy the information I'd compiled. And
Mm-hmm.
it teaches people how to go and research the market, find a problem, check that it's big enough, check that it's still able to be competed in.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually gets them access to a course and to the platform. You're saying it's hard to get the solutions these days, so I've
Mm-hmm.
found the right solution provider, and they will be able to create a course or a membership using that program. And my friend John Lent supplies the actual hands-on help, and I created that course with him. I think that's where I send people who are like absolutely starting from scratch.
Brilliant. Okay, I'll put a link down underneath the video, and also to anybody else who's watching this who's actually getting momentum with a business that wants a little bit of help to get to the next level, they can come to superfastbusiness.com and connect with you there. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of podcasts there that would be helpful to get started. I mean, you can learn a lot from those. One of my favorite ones is the green flags I look for to know if they're going to have $100,000 per month business. And there's a diagnostic on that you could treat it like a cheat sheet for what you're missing out on your current business. I mean,
Yeah.
that alone, it's based on what I teach my $3,000 per month students. So it's a
Yeah.
very good training.
Well, great. I think there's going to be a few people heading straight for that. Could save a lot of
Yeah,
time
well,
and
it's
effort.
yeah, it was, it was too hard for me when I started. That's why I like creating resources that make it a bit easier.
Yeah. No, brilliant, mate. Thank you for that. That's really, really valuable. I'll make sure to put all the links here. And if it's okay with you, I've really enjoyed our time. I'd love to check in maybe in 6, 12 months with you, see how we're going, and maybe do it again and see where we're all sitting. It would be really, really great. As long as you can fit me in between your surfing, of course, you know.
Well, I'm not surfing at 9:30 at night, so you're
That's a
safe.
good thing. That's a good thing. James, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for taking the time. And I look forward to the next time.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Hey, it's Robert here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you've really, really enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed this, then please subscribe to this channel and come back and see many, many more. Doing these things all the time. And if you want to know when the next one comes up, click the little bell and you'll get a notification each and every time we've got a new video up there for you to have a look at. And the other thing is,
I nearly forgot. If you love everything to do with personal development, business development, and just getting yourself into a peak state, then you're going to want to get over to my free webinar training, which is going to show you exactly the steps to take to overcome any inner barriers that are stopping you from achieving in life and business right now, and exactly what to do to get that put right and start living the life of your dreams, starting right now. Sounds like a tall order? Promise you, you can do this stuff. Get across to my webinar training. The link is in the description below this video. I hope to see you there. And at the very least, I hope that you click the bell. I hope you subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you back here again soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.